All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and me. All right, you have to visualize the pointing. This is the Dave podcast. Going to be talking about Travis Tritt. Travis Tritt, who is a hero today to me. Here's the story. It comes to us from the New York Post. Country music star Travis Tritt announced a boycott of all products by Anheuser-Busch, joining Kid Rock in protesting its beer giant Bud Light for teaming up with this Dylan person. Yeah, this Dylan, it's out there all over the place. I've watched the commercial, and after the commercial, I felt as though I needed some disinfectant. I needed to bathe in rubbing alcohol, and then maybe drink some of it. But I won't be drinking any Anheuser-Busch products. You know, I'm talking to my wife about this last night. And, you know, we were on this low carb thing for a while. So, you know, Michelob Ultra, which is, of course, an Anheuser-Busch product. Low carb. It's basically like beer flavored soda water, you know. It's not very good, but you could say, hey, I had a beer, you know. Anyway, that's no longer going to be a thing for us. We're not going to do it. This is what Travis Tritt says here. I will be deleting all Anheuser-Busch products from my tour hospitality rider. I know many other artists are doing the same. So, hey, you know, I wonder if the folks over who own the Miller Brewing Company I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to do this? Are they going to go along and, maybe do something similar to what Anheuser-Busch is doing here? I would just stand firm if I were the folks that own other breweries in the country. I mean, look, I know some people don't want to admit it, but the occasional adult beverage, especially in the times we live in, I would say, just know your limit, right? He goes on to say here, in full disclosure, I was on a tour sponsored by Budweiser in the 1990s. That was, and this is an interesting point here, that was when Anheuser-Busch was American-owned. Tritt, who just turned 60, wrote, he looks great for 60, by the way, a great American company that later sold out to the Europeans and became unrecognizable to the American consumer. Okay, let me read this again. A great American company that later sold out to the Europeans and became unrecognizable to the American consumer. Such a shame, he continued. Now, old school Americana, supporting things that are American, buying things that are American, about 95% of the population doesn't care anymore. That's the punchline here, and it's a sad truth. It's because we've sold out to everybody on planet Earth. Travis Tritt is a hero. He added in a follow-up post that other artists who are deleting Anheuser-Busch products from their hospitality rider might not say so in public for fear of being ridiculed and canceled, but he's got no fear, he says. I don't have any fear. Country music star Travis Tritt announced he will just discontinue this. He's not going to go along with what everybody else seems to be cheering about, right? Did you see the commercial? Yeah, I saw the commercial, and I can't unsee it. This person is like frolicking around in a bathtub with soapy water, and they've got they've got a certain kind of attire on, which apparently matches what they are telling the world that they are, and it is just so inappropriate in so many ways. And here's another punchline for everybody. So if you don't like something that everybody is telling you you're supposed to like, and I get this all the time about music. Oh, you don't like grunge? No, I don't like grunge. Sorry. Well, you got to like some grunge. No, I don't like any grunge. Hello, I don't like grunge. All right. I'm glad I got that off my chest. See, this is the advantage of the podcast. I can, because I'm just kind of got my elbow on the counter here on the surface of my beautiful setup here in the office, right? Anyway, if you don't like something, why is that a bad thing? I mean, and this is when I first started doing this channel and I said, gee, I don't like X, Y, and Z. And everybody thought I was Simon Cowell. I'm like, no, I just, there are certain things I like and certain things I don't like. Well, you have to admit that it's good for what it is. Okay, it might be good for what it is, but I don't like it. In this case, with this Dylan character and this commercial, I just don't like it. And there are no redeeming qualities. This is a great American brand, or it was a great American brand. By the way, in case you didn't know, there are 30 beer brands. And somebody posted the logos, and I'll have to look that up. But the top ones are obviously Budweiser, Beck's, which I thought was a German beer, Busch, obviously, Corona. Really? Corona is part of this? Oh, man. Michelob Light. And Stella Artois, or Artois, I don't know how to say it. It's Artois. Let me click on the logos here. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, folks, here's the thing. On the other side, they boycott stuff all the time. And they tell you about what they're boycotting here. Okay, wow. This is a huge list. Okay, so let me continue here. So it's Bud, Beck's, Stella, Michelob Light, Bass Ale, Hoegaarden, not the greatest name for a beer, right? It looks like a German beer. I just said the name, I'm sorry. Labatt's Blue, Rolling Rock, seriously? Boddington's Goose Island, Shock Top, Leffe, Leffe, Chexer, can't even pronounce that, Land Shark, Brahma, Margaritaville. Oh, sounds like Jimmy Buffett sold his brand, huh? Busch, obviously, Kirin Light, Natural Ice, of course, O'Doul's, Red Hook, St. Pauli Girl, Lowenbrow, King Cobra, Hurricane, Corona Extra, Estrella, Negro Modelo, Pacifico, and then there was one here that looks like it was part of it, but then they blocked it out. That's a lot of beer. I mean, that's Corona and all the natural products, Natural Light, Natural Ice, anything that says Anheuser-Busch on it, anything. And there are a lot of brands. By the way, Travis Tritt has 8.8 million views on his tweet 12 hours ago that he'll be deleting all Anheuser-Busch products from his tour hospitality rider. Doesn't appear that anyone bought out Miller yet. So you might want to go over to Miller. I didn't see Coors. Coors must still be owned by Coors or somebody else. And 769,000 views on a follow-up tweet, which asks for all of the logos, which Travis pointed out here. I mean, Travis Tritt. And by the way, Travis was one of the guys, too, during the Thingdemic that was not going to require people to go get a QR code to attend his concerts. He's a hero. And you know what I would do, folks? Go to Travis's website, buy out all his T-shirts, buy out all his merchandise. Seriously, make him famous in a good way and make him some money. Because this, I'll tell you what, in this day and age, it takes guts, it takes chutzpah. And of course, everyone's going to say, wow, Travis Tritt, such a hater. He's such a hater. What's wrong with Travis Tritt? How come he's not going along with this? Oh, and by the way, as a little footnote, did anyone see the CMAs? I mean, I don't watch any award shows, and I do love country music, but I like, like red dirt country. That's what I like, and I've been promoting some bands. I'm going to try to promote some more music from West Texas, where they haven't given to the just the wokeness of the world, and the music is still very authentic, and it's not, skinny jeans and smoke machines. It's actually real country music. Anyway, the CMAs did something that is very much now in the news all the time with, these reading sessions where these people go and read to children, and they're wearing a certain attire, and it's wildly inappropriate for children. Like, this isn't even debatable. And yet there are some people that'll interview them. Well, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with just reading to kids, right? And I get it. This is the CMAs. So the Country Music Association now wants to be affiliated with this kind of thing. Like, this is what their audience wants to see. There's just no way. And it's like the NFL, what they did. The NFL is just, it's horrible. I did not tune in to see any of the commercials or the game. I had no interest in who was playing. Tom Brady retired, so I'm kind of done with football. That's it. Just, I might watch it for Tom Brady, but I'm not watching football. Unless someone comes along like a Travis Tritt and is outspoken. Of course, he's going to get annihilated in this media culture that we live in, where, again, free speech and being honest about your feelings. Go watch the commercial and tell me how you feel afterwards. Oh, I don't have a problem with it. What's wrong with you? You're the one. Yes, I have a problem. I have a problem with that. As an adult, I have a problem with that. See, when you're wired a certain way, which I know is against the narrative, that you can't be wired any which way, that your wiring can just be tampered with and undone and put back together again, and you'll be different. Where are we headed to? We might as well all be robots that are controlled by the people who know better, the people who think that they know better about the culture and what we should like and dislike. And this is insane. And it's getting worse. This week, if you pay attention a little bit to the news, I'm not saying that people don't, but this stuff is just creeping and encroaching, and it's not slowly. It's here. It's here. It's been here for a while. And again, you can follow the money to who started this stuff. Someone sent me a video, and unfortunately, I don't know the link or the title, but if you do some Googling on this agenda, there are very powerful organizations that are funding all of this. And not only are they funding these district attorneys and these people who are in government, but they're funding corporations. They're throwing money at this in a way that certainly makes it profitable for the people who get involved in this. And I'm just at a loss as to why a culture needs to be destroyed. Why is it? And there are other countries, by the way. One of them, I hate to tell everybody, is Russia. And I know people just don't want to hear about Russia, but they're not down with this. They are not. It's one of the reasons I think they're doing what they're doing over there in Ukraine. And nobody wants to talk about that. That's forbidden. You can't make that connection. I'm not saying they're all saints over there, and I'm not saying there aren't, old KGB agents hanging around or whatever, but it's different. It's not 1987 anymore, people. I know what you were told, but it's not the same. And they look at American culture right now, and they are wondering, was there kind of like, did someone drop a chemical from the clouds and it just fell down, and everybody started to think that right was wrong and good was evil and vice versa, and evil was good and all that? It's bizarre. I keep saying it's bizarre. It's a Twilight Zone thing. Travis Tritt, Budweiser. A lot of people are they're going to struggle with this because they've bought these products for years, but it's a foreign company that owns it. I had no idea that it was a foreign, I don't keep up on all the mergers and the buyouts and so forth, but it's a foreign entity that owns Anheuser-Busch and all these brands that are attached to it. And there are a lot of brands. In fact, Corona I mean, that is crazy. And Corona sells like wild where I live. It's, you go in there and people are buying it by, case after case of this stuff. I mean, you load up your cart with Corona. I mean, looking at the culture and the way it's falling apart, I could see why people might want to load up on some adult beverages. Try not to. Try to avoid the temptation, but in the end, folks, it's just depressing. And again, you may say, okay, this is no big deal. This is just this dude or whatever you want to call this person who is behaving in a way that isn't the majority of citizens, but it's being portrayed as this is great. I mean, there was a moment where this person was hanging out with Drew Barrymore on her show because she has a show. And I used to like Drew Barrymore. I don't understand why all these people just capitulate and just think that, oh yeah, my audience will love this. And some of us don't. Some of us don't. Maybe we just need our own country at this point. Maybe the experiment, the great American experiment, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. I mean, maybe we need a new Declaration of Independence from this. And if it isn't just the pure politics that is crushing us and, sending money over to other countries, if it's not that's going to destroy us, what is going to destroy us is this culture war. This culture war, by the way, is a hill that some people will be willing to die on. And as much as I am a bit old for this and I'm frustrated by it, I could see myself, toward the end of my life saying, you know what, this is worth fighting because the next generation. I mean, I have a son who's only 9 years old. And I think of him every day. I look at that television and I go, what's it going to be like in 5 years or 3 years? I mean, this stuff is moving at warp speed. And you're saying all this from Anheuser-Busch? Yeah, all this. Because, I mean, look, Anheuser-Busch, again, a great American company in the old days. And quite honestly, what they represented, much like the NFL, and I'm not saying beer has to be macho and bravado, but Budweiser, the king of beers, the Clydesdales, just, I don't know. Maybe Schlitz should come back. Remember Schlitz? Is Schlitz still around? Every time I say that word, I feel like I'm sinning. Schlitz. Actually, there's a singer by the name of John Schlitt. Used to be in Head East and also the band Petra. And I get afraid to say his name because I feel as though I'm saying inappropriate things. Anyway, people, good for Travis Tritt. Good for him, man. He's a hero. He's a great singer, too. He still sounds amazing. I don't know his latest album, the name of it, but I spent some time listening to some of his newer material, and he just throws it right back to the 90s or even earlier than that. He's always been an outlaw, and he's one of the good guys. So, if you're going to have an adult beverage today, do two things. Number one, make sure it's not made by Anheuser-Busch. And number two, have one in honor of Travis Tritt.